Alright, so welcome back to the channel, guys, and for those of you that are just coming and visiting or stopping by for a little bit just to see what it is all about, I am doing a 1.1 Genshin Impact video. I'm going to be fighting Childe, and I'm going to do that in rank 45 plus. Rank 47 right now, but these are the rewards that we're looking for. Hopefully we get some gladiator sets and maybe Northlander polearm. After the fight is done, I'm gonna show you guys a breakdown of my builds and what I would suggest for any new players or any players at all, as far as how to build, what accessories to look for, what stats to look for, things like that. So I'll do this with a little gum chewing, of course, considering that's what most of my subs enjoy. Yeah. Some ice cubes from icebreakers. Okay. So let's just jump into the fight and see what we get. I've done the story mode on this already. It was glorious. The fight, you do take a decent amount of damage, so just be careful for that when you're doing this, because it scales with your world level. So for any of you that are up to this point, yeah, just be careful and make sure your characters are either same level or higher, because he'll punish you. So I'm gonna have Fischl, and I'm gonna change this to Chongyun, and I mean I could potentially change it around, but I'm also gonna go with Barber too, and I'll explain that in a bit why. But yeah, this is my main team, my main go-to team for most content. If there's no punishing, I guess punishing debuffs or anything like that, then that usually happens in domains. So without further ado, let's do it. Lowers defense. Alright, it's gonna transition. It's gonna go into phase 2. Actually, there's a phase 2 before. No, phase 2 was before. This is phase 3. This is pretty dope cinematic. That if you could play as this, that would be so dope. That is so cool. Look at that. I really feel like drawing that. So yeah, I'll explain reactions too, as far as why I keep switching and all that too. Here we go. Let's get him. Alright, pop this. Switch. Switch. Let's do special. Let's do another special. Before she dies, switch. Switch over to Chongyun. Oh, with... There we go. You saw I was taking a lot of damage on that, and it's especially Barbara because she's 66, so it scales like that. Let's see. Do I have enough resin? I do. Cool. Let's see what we get. Alright, only 2 yellows. That's kind of lackluster, but let's see which ones. Oh, boo. Alright, so Shard of Foul Legacy. I'm not sure what that is yet. Or like what it's used for. Hopefully that flask is good though. Alright, goblet. Alright, that was the fight. Now, let's just leave, and now I will explain my thought process, my builds, and everything, and exactly what characters I have too. So, if it seems like I'm doing more damage than normal, there's a reason for that. So, let's start off. Again, this is my main 4. This is my usual go-to. These are my secondary 4, or the rest of the team. I mix and match these depending on what is needed. So, as far as Diluc goes, constellation, talents, all of that are really important as far as what you're supposed to, how much damage you do. Leveling these things are very key because it increases the multiplier of how much damage you're doing. The only thing is it costs a lot to level these things up, and you need certain materials from weekly bosses. So, that being said, depending on your constellation level, these can get boosted, these 2 abilities, and that goes for every single character. So, my Diluc's constellation level is level 2. He has Conviction, increases his damage against enemies by 15% when their HP is above 50%. So, I'll deal heavier hits when they're above HP. And then Searing Ember, whenever I get damaged, my attack gets increased by 10% and my attack speed increased by 5% for 10 seconds. So if I get hit, because it stacks up to 3 times, if I get hit every 1.5 seconds, this can go up to 15% attack speed and 30% attack damage, so it's pretty good. The rest of these I'm hoping I'll get later on in the line, but I'm not going to spend any more. I already spent what I need to spend, and I'm good like that. My Chongyun, he's at Constellation 6. When you go through these, you can see how much more damage you get increased by all this. So his elemental skills, the CD cooldown, his abilities, they get like his ult as soon as I use my elemental skill. His burst almost automatically goes up, and I can use it right there and then. So usually when I switch to him, he's ready to go. As far as like a rotation, you don't need all these constellations, but it definitely does increase your damage. So it's the important thing about him is that he's creating certain reactions. So this team that I built up together, as far as their synergy, I planned it to be this way. Her constellation C6 and her constellation also C6. her one important thing about her is that her heals get stronger, which with each of these, and it ends up being I guess beneficial as far as how effective her heals are and how long they last. So when you go through each of these, you'll know. I mean, you can, when you're looking at your game, you'll know what exactly this is increased for. So I'm not gonna delve too deep into the constellations because it's not important for free-to-play players or anything like that. This is just, you know, icing on top of the cake. The only thing I really like about C6 is that she can revive a character every 15 minutes. So if that character dies, auto revive, like in Final Fantasy, it's yeah, auto revive. She gets super strong with her constellation, or especially her last constellation, because Oz ends up, which is her hawk that I end up summoning. They attack with any character that's on there. And so it's like anytime they're swinging, like if you saw when Barbara was starting to use her water attacks, she attacks really fast. So Oz will just shoot repeatedly with Barbara, and it does a ton of damage. On top of that, Oz will deal 30% more of Fischl's attack damage as electric damage. So stacking attack on Fischl is beneficial, as well as crit and crit damage, of course, but attack is what you want to go for. But in the end, if you have any electric bonus damage, you want to stack that. That's always priority. I'll show you as soon as I switch over to the artifacts. So my Keqing is C1. Pretty much, it's just her ability, her elemental skill will deal 50% more electro damage based on her attack damage. And it does like I think an AoE effect whenever I shoot out her E and press E again. So it's like a big AoE, and then everything after that is normal. Mona, it increases the elemental reactions dealt by anything affected by her ult, and it lasts for 8 seconds. So that'll be electrocharge, vaporize, hydro swirl, and frozen lasts longer. And I'll show you exactly what's going on with that. But again, these characters, this is just what I have. You do not need this. The important thing about building these characters is that you build on only certain characters that you're focusing on. Don't go around leveling all these characters, because it's not going to be worth it, and you're going to get stuck behind. You're going to get slammed as your level increases and world level increases. So just keep leveling up their talents and things like that. Jean is C2. This is just more of her gale damage, dealing more damage when you hold it down for more than a second. So it does 40% more damage. That's good. And whenever she gets any elemental particles, everybody in the party gets increased movement speed and attack speed by 15%. It's dope, but not needed. Xiangling is free. I have her at C6, but I use her strictly as a support, not as a DPS. I put her out there to do her abilities and pull her back out. And I'll show you their talents going backwards. Venti, I just got him, but it's like I leveled him up a little bit, and I'm not too much of a fan of him because, well, I'm not too much of a fan of animal characters, period. And I know they do good swirl damage, and he can really dish it out, but I'm not, I think there's too many characters. Like, Animal doesn't really do a bunch of, it doesn't have a strong effect against people that have weaknesses. So they always, any animal always needs an element to be good. But those are the main skills that are on the field whenever she's off. Her attack, you do not need to level this up, so unless you're making her as a DPS, then yes, level that up. Otherwise, I would say stick with these two for her pyro, I guess stacking and extra damage. For her, I gave her the Crimson Witch set. Crimson Witch of Flames increases pyro damage by 15% and increases the overload and any type of other burning, like vaporize, melt, any type of elemental reaction that it does that goes well with pyro and increases the damage, not the swirl damage. So again, animal characters, I don't really need them in my team. I only have Jean because she can heal, so I find her very useful. Her helmet, her hat. Right now, I want to switch it over. It has attack percent, but these stats right here, they're really good, so that's why I kept it. But I'm thinking of switching over to this crit helmet. I just needed to level it up. The only thing is that it got the defense kind of bad, but like the substats, they're not as good as this helmet. So, but essentially, when you're building these sets, you can go for the two pieces and mix and match. Like for her, you can go two-piece gladiator. She gets an 18% attack boost, or an two-piece crimson with a fire damage boost. But because she's creating elemental reactions, those are just gonna pump up numbers both for her abilities and the person that's on the field. It lasts for 50 seconds every time her abilities are reacting with other people, so it's really good. You've probably seen it in my live videos, but she is definitely dishing out a lot of damage even when she's not on the field, so very, very good support. Jean, I'm trying to maximize her physical damage. And you know what, let me go back, because I didn't even show you her weapon either. So, Xiangling's weapon, I focus, the main stats when I'm focusing on all of these, I'm always trying to focus on maybe four main stats, and it goes in this order. For her, it's elemental reaction, elemental mastery, attack percent, energy recharge, and then any crits like crit rate, crit damage. I always try to keep it at a 1-to-2 ratio for crit and crit rate to crit damage. But it's like, because the only reason that I would do that is if you have a really high crit damage, but you have low crit rate, you're probably never going to see, not never, but you're not going to see those numbers as often. So it's always good to have a certain crit rate, or like a high crit rate, 40 to 50%, and then start stacking as much crit damage afterwards. So like 50 and 150 it's good, but you should have maybe 60, 120, or 70, 140. So this is her hat. Again, I might switch it. Her cup, her goblet, I try to make sure that she has the pyro damage increase percent. Let me do that. And I'm hoping to get one with crit later on and take these away. This is her clock, or her watch that she has. The substats are amazing, but I wish this was attack, so I have another one. Essentially, you would want to make this attack and then have these stats. These stats are great. Whenever you have whatever you have as your main stat on your item, you cannot have that on your substats. So just try not to look for both double, because you won't get that. Just be satisfied with at least two good mods that are important for the character. So elemental mastery, energy recharge, good. Attack percent up here, good. The last two don't have to be crit, but if they're crit, really, really good. Feather. For all the characters, you just want to make sure that they have like a 5-star whenever you're leveling up. If you don't have access to 5-star, get 4 stars, but you want the feather to be leveled up maximum most of the time, because that's where a big chunk of your attack comes from and most of your damage. So this elemental mastery, crit damage, crit rate, I could have gotten an attack percent, but not that lucky. But this is still very, very good. Flower, that's where most of your HP comes from, and their flowers will always have HP here, so just always try to aim real for the substats. So elemental mastery, crit, and energy recharge. The point for Xiangling to have good energy recharge is so that she can get her ultimate, her elemental burst faster. And that's what you want. You want that so that you can pop her Pyronado and just start damaging the crap out of all the enemies around you. As far as her stats go, crit rate 34%, crit damage 73. See, that's like almost like a 1 to 2. Elemental mastery 186. I would want it to be higher, but this is the importance of elemental mastery because she's my support. I want her damage when she's off the field, like the elemental reactions, to go higher. So the higher this number, the higher your vaporize and melt, the higher electro charged, shattered, swirled, and the higher your crystallize, the shields that you get from crystallize. That goes with Geo. And as you see, I have no Geo on my team. I was thinking of getting Ningguang in there, but again, resources are always so scarce. So I'm saving all my Primo Gems to get Zhongli, and then I'm just gonna pump him with all the XP, and then I'll probably show you guys how the Geo reactions work. Of course, you guys can YouTube it as well, but yeah. Energy recharge 140%. That's every particle that comes to you, multiply that, and your energy recharge will go higher. Because certain abilities, they take an amount of damage. Where is it? Hold on, sorry. Or energy cost. See, her energy cost is 80. It's pretty high. So for her to get her elemental burst, that's how much energy particles you need, or like, the points in order to get her ult off. So that 140% multiplied by how much each, I think you get like 6 as a base or something like that, or I don't remember, but it gets multiplied more, so you get more back, and then yeah, you can use this. So moving on. Jean's artifacts. Physical damage percent. I'm getting that from the 2 set of the Bloodstained Flower of Iron. For her, I'm aiming for attack percent. Her main stats, attack percent, physical damage percent. Oh, flip that. Physical damage percent, attack percent, crit rate, and then crit damage. Elemental mastery. She does not need that because she's not really like the swirl that she does. It's not really that important. More effective swirl characters are Venti and Sucrose. So for her, I'm just trying to, when you increase her attack percent, you increase her heals. That's what her heals, like her scaling comes from. And she's also a DPS for me, so she's kind of like the jack of all trades for me. She's a DPS, a healer, a support as far as creating certain reactions, but not all the time. It's just she's pretty good for that. Feather, Bloodstained, so I get the 25%. I got crit damage, energy recharge. See, like I don't need that crit rate and elemental mastery, but these stats are good. So the next sets I wanted for her was gladiator sets for an extra attack percent boost. So she's got 2 pieces of that. Right now she's rocking this. I'm gonna probably level this up, but I was trying to see if I could get a better one because these substats aren't that good. Having flat attack is not the greatest thing in the world. You would rather have attack percent because your attack would be increased better if it was a higher attack percent. I was looking for crit, but I don't have it yet, so we'll see. This goblet is amazing for her. It has a high attack percent, crit rate, attack, and energy recharge. So, I mean, it helps her get her elemental burst faster. And on top of that, it's a physical damage bonus. Anytime, any goblets that you get for your characters, it's always important you get whatever damage they're doing. So, Xiangling, Pyro, Jean, physical, versus at 58%. So, I mean, it always scales by level. So, if you have a level 16 with bad stats, or like really good substats, most of the time those stats won't be that high number, but when you have 5 stars, the main stat will scale a lot more, and the substats can scale a lot more. Even if these are crappy, this is really important when you want to do damage. If you don't need to do damage with her, then it doesn't matter, but for her it does. Helmet, right now she has a gladiator helmet for the 2 set. I always try to get crit rate for every helmet except for healers. I know she's healing for me, but she's also my DPS, so I want her to do good damage. So that's why I have a crit rate helmet and this. All right, I'll show you her stats. So about almost 2k attack. Her crit rate is 40%, about 40%, 38%, and 92%. So I'm trying to get the crit rate higher. Hopefully I'll hit it with leveling accessories, or accessories, or getting different ones. Energy recharge. Again, this is always good to get her elemental burst up. So her elemental skill is a low cooldown, so she can get particles left and right, and it's amazing. So she can get her super off pretty well. I don't care for elemental mastery, so this is just extra. Don't need that. And her physical damage bonus over here, 121%. She does hit pretty damn hard. But yeah. I don't think I showed how much fire percent she has, so let's show you that real quick. Her pyro damage percent is 61%. It could be higher, but I think, let me see. You know what, actually, maybe not, never mind. Let's move on. Mona. Mona is my support. Her attack can get boosted from energy recharge, and on top of that, her elemental burst costs a lot of energy, so you really want to get her energy recharge way up there. So her 2 most important stats, and then following after that would be, I'll let you know. Number 1, since she's your support and she's creating a lot of reactions, elemental mastery. Number 2, energy recharge, so she can get her ult off. Number 3, you can go crit rate and crit burst. Crit damage, and then after that you can go attack percent, because she'll be getting more attack percent from the energy recharge you get. So let's just go through her artifacts and her sets. She's mainly rocking a 4-piece Noblesse Oblige set. Her elemental burst damage 20%, really good. And anytime she uses her elemental burst, That's an extra 20% attack for the whole party. So good for support. Let's go through each piece. So, first starting with Flower. Her crit damage, Elemental Mastery 58, attack percent. Such good stats for this Flower. I couldn't be happier with anything else. If it had crit rate instead of that attack, yeah, but that's like, getting those rolls are like next to impossible. Then she has for Feather, HPA, attack percent, energy recharge 80%, and crit damage. I have another Feather that I want to work on, which is this one. It has everything except the Elemental Mastery. This one doesn't have Elemental Mastery either, so I might switch over to this once I level it up. But yeah, this is what she has right now. For her clock, she has Elemental Mastery as the base instead of attack percent because she doesn't need attack. Crit damage, crit rate, attack percent, HP. I mean, I cannot complain. That is like so good for her. Sorry. For her goblet, Hydro damage is what she does. All her main attacks, everything, auto attacks. Her elemental skill or her elemental burst is all Hydro, so you want that as your main stat. Attack, these stats, they're like alright, but elemental mastery, attack percent, I was hoping I could get crits. This is still very good, and I'm still looking for any good goblet, but this is very good for now. Her helmet, crit rate, energy recharge, attack percent, elemental mastery. So as you can see, her elemental mastery is like way up there. Let's go with what stats she's working off of. Her hydro damage bonus is 46%. That's mainly from the goblet. There are no water sets yet, so I mean hydro sets, so that's why she's rocking Noblesse. But that support that she's able to just pop her ult and everybody gets benefits from it, especially like the amount of damage that she can dish out from it, it's really good. Her attack right now is at 1300. Elemental Mastery 343. So everybody that's dishing out their reactions with her, that much more damage. 54% doing a combo with Diluc, or with like anytime. Like I put Mona with Diluc and Chongyun, they end up dealing crazy damage together. The electro charged her and Fischl, yo, insane. So this is really good for her. Like, I think her Omen crits for maybe like 40k or something like that, and that's like on regular monsters like 30 to 40k. Like monsters my level, if they're lower level, they get demolished. Crit rate 43% and crit damage 128%. I want to get this higher if I could, but the higher this goes, the more effective she'll be. Energy recharge 153. It's pretty low for what it is, and I'm trying to get that higher. Let me step back again because I forgot her weapon. Jean's weapon. This increases her physical damage percent, and her base attack is pretty high. So, the weapon itself, it does like you benefit off of getting hit. So, whenever you get hit, it ends up doing a big damage burst, 200% of her attack. So, her attack being high, enemies get slapped across the face. And yeah, it's just a good weapon overall for her. I originally had it on Keqing, but I'll go get to why I just switched it off for her. She definitely benefits a lot from it. Mona, I gave her the Widsith. I know there's better weapons out there, but this one specifically, it's more random with like her damage as far as what happens with her whenever she gets on the field. She gets a random effect. It could either be her attack is increased by 75%. That's okay when she's doing her attacks and stuff, and yes, it affects her elemental burst and her elemental skill, but not as much as this. Look, increases all elemental damage by 60%. So when I'm telling you, if she comes out with that song and I use her elemental burst, that damage, those monsters are gonna get crushed. Elemental mastery by 300. That's also very good. So her elemental mastery would be like 640. 640 or something like that. So I haven't looked at the numbers, but it's really good. But yeah, this weapon is pretty good. Another weapon that she could use. There's a weapon that gives you elemental particles when you crit. That's good for her, so she can get her elemental burst faster. So I'd recommend that book or this book. Keqing. Now that I'm on her weapon, I have to level this weapon up, but but yeah, it increases her electro damage, or any of her damage, all of it, physical, electro, if the unit is affected by pyro or electro, which is most of the time because those are the characters that I have, and she spits out electro all the time. It's like her uptime on electro is probably, you could have it up for, I want to say when she's on the field, 90% of the time she's doing electro damage, if you're doing everything right. Her artifacts, I just switched her to this set, so I'm just working on her now. But this set, her electro res is increased by 40%, that's a bonus, but this is what we're looking for: increased damage against enemies affected by electro by 35%, and that's damage. So that's, again, physical and electro. Really good. When all this stuff gets leveled up, she's gonna be hitting like a truck with her electro, and her physical. So right now all of her stuff is kind of low leveled, but let's go and look through it. This flower, I didn't level it up all the way, but I probably will get this up soon. I just wanted to get one with crit rate because right now her crit rate is low. This battle pass, I might get a crit rate weapon for her. So if that's the case, I might use this if the crit damage goes higher. So, and I'll level it up to 20. Her feather, these stats are pretty good too. Again, it's like crit damage is good, attack percent, elemental mastery, always like for elemental reactions is still good, but I'm still looking for crit rate, attack percent. Again, our main stats: electro percent, attack percent, crit rate, crit damage, and the rest is just extra. You can see that I don't really have that much defense in HP for any of my characters. It's because I want them. My thought process is the best defense is the best offense. So if you can kill them fast, they won't be there to hurt you. So you can be there and have the biggest defense, and yeah, they'll like hit you for a lower time, but a lot of the higher content in Spiral Abyss, you need to kill things fast, and if you don't kill things fast, you're not going to get the best rewards or the maximum rewards that you could get. So yeah, this is the clock she's using, attack percent, and these stats. Now I was hoping for crit rate, but again, that's why I didn't level it up, because I'm hoping to get a crit rate clock, something like this, but with attack percent and attack percent up here. Or not attack percent, but just crit rate, crit damage, and then anything else. Right now she has a sucky goblet. The substats are really good. Electro damage is good, but I need to get a higher percent up here. So for now, this will suffice for her. But I'm hoping to get a 5-star for her eventually. Helmet, crit rate. I got the crit damage, attack percent. This is the best helmet for her, hands down. So I'm happy with this, and then we'll just go with that for now. She does not need energy recharge because her elemental burst gets up pretty quickly, only because her elemental skill is like, you can use it a bunch of times. Pretty fast, it's low cooldown. So let's go check out her stats. Attack at 1400, that will get higher once I level things up. Now see, this is my problem. Her crit rate, 40%. Crit damage, 142. We want this number 50, 60%. So if I get the new weapon, this will probably be up there. I would just probably lose some attack, but it's a no-brainer. You want to be doing those double digit, like those crit damage numbers more often, so that you can just keep on dishing out crazy amounts of damage. Electro damage increased by 34%. That'll be higher if I have a 5-star goblet. And then she's got electro res. Energy recharge 120. Again, you don't need that much, but it's helpful. Fischl. So, Fischl, I tried to build her main stats, would end up being, I would say, attack percent, elemental mastery, crit rate, and then crit damage. And then everything else is fine, because she ends up building a lot of, she was talking about here, she gets her ult pretty fast, with what I have on her, and just in general, like, her bird being up on the field, it's just incredible damage, because they attack with me. So, let's go artifacts. Her set, obviously, I'm trying to work on, but it's pretty difficult because I haven't been getting many good drops for her. I'll start with the flower. I got elemental mastery, crit rate, attack percent. Again, I would want crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, and an elemental mastery. That would be clutch. Feather. Crit rate 40%, beautiful. Attack percent 12%, beautiful. Energy recharge, elemental mastery, good. So this feather is her, like, it's like the crutch for any stats that she's lacking as far as attack percent and crit rate. This stuff is good, but I would want this a little bit higher, because she's usually not on the field attacking. She's just, it's all her hawk that's doing all the damage, or I don't know, hawk or crow, but yeah. For her hourglass, this, I need to level up to level 20. These stats are pretty good, so I'll probably level this up to level 20 soon. For goblet, electro damage, these substats are really good, but again, if I had a better electro goblet, I would have that on her. It's just because it's a part of the 4 set, I can't take this off for her. Her 4 set gives her the electro damage bonus, and then her overload, her electro charge, all the elemental reactions, numbers go way up there. Helmet, crit rate. You know, always trying to go for crit rate, but I'm trying to get her a better helmet. These substats are good, not the best, so hopefully I'll get a new helmet. Attributes, 54% crit. I need to pump her crit damage up. Her attack's at 1500. I'm hoping to get that up higher, but I'm happy with what it's at right now, because yeah, she does a lot of damage off the field. Energy recharge, 102%. And her electro damage one is 49%. So that's for the 4 set. And from our goblet. But artifacts. I gave her the maiden set for good healing. I just got lucky with some of these stats, to be honest. So let's just show this. For her main stats, priority, HP percent. I would say energy recharge. Then, actually before that, healing bonus, HP, energy recharge, and everything else is just fluff. So let's go over her set. gave her this flower because the stats, elemental mastery, it was nice. Crit rate's good, attack percent. Again, I would want more HP stuff on this and energy recharge, but this is nice for her now. I'm just waiting to find like a good flower to give to her, and then I'll level it up. Because right now she doesn't need any. She can use any flower. Feather. I got HP percent, defense, and elemental mastery. Again, not the best, but I need it for the force head, so I'm trying to get her a better feather. Her clock. HP, energy recharge, crit damage, and attack percent. I think these can roll energy recharge, so I would probably want to put energy recharge for her, or I think this can roll HP too, so HP would be nice here too for her heals, because her heals scale off of her HP. So I'm still working on this. Goblet, increase attack percent. It's not great, but look at HP, crit rate, crit damage. It's not; these aren't necessary, but I would. For her, I don't need hydro damage because she's not my DPS. She's just support healing. So HP on there would be the best thing. I don't have any of those yet, so, and I haven't farmed that domain that much, so yeah. Helmet, healing bonus. I would want a 5-star healing bonus. Then you got energy recharge, HP percent, and yeah, the other two are just fillers. But that's what she's dealing with, so. I forgot. Weapon again. She's using Stringless. Increase elemental skill and elemental burst damage by 48%. So good on her. That's all that's being used with her. Her auto attack, not important. One thing I didn't do is go over the elemental. I mean, they're talents, but I'll show you that to you once we just rinse back through. Because now that I'm on this, showing you the stats for all these guys and their weapons, it's I would just want to keep it at that pattern. So, Barbara's weapon. She is using all these are usually refinement 5 for me, but you don't need that much. This is just because I had extra items from wishing. So, HP, extra percent, very good for her for healing. And this is why Barbara is amazing for my team. So, when she's on the field, as soon as she switches whatever character she switches to, they gain a bonus of 48% attack for 10 seconds. It can only happen every 20 seconds, but I'll have it set up so I'll switch to her second to last, and then I'll switch to my DPS, which would be Diluc, and he'll just have a whole bunch of damage and just unload everything after I've already unloaded everything else. So I would start off with I'll start off with Fischl, put her Hawk out, then I'll go with Chongyun, and they'll have a super conduct. The enemy will get defense down, and then Barbara jumps in for throwing on her heal, has that book ready, and then I switch Diluc, and then his attack jumps like crazy. He has heals on, and the enemy's defense is down. Every elemental reaction that's going off is just numbers and numbers and numbers and numbers, and that's what you want. That's why you're switching constantly, using other people's abilities. You want these buffs, you want these elemental reactions, because that's how you get numbers. If you have him out just doing fire damage all the time, you're not going to get enough numbers. So, it's all about synergy in this game. Now let's go and look at Chongyun's artifacts. So, he has the Gladiator 4-piece set. I pretty much have him as a support, but he's also doing damage too. So, depending on what team he ends up going as Battle Abyss, I need him to do that damage. In case someone needs to get healed, he'll come in and he'll start dishing out the damage. So let's start off with this flower. Again, 4-piece gladiator set, attack percent, 18% increase. And then if he's any user that's using a sword, claymore, polearm, they all get their normal attack increased by 35%, and he's always attacking. So he'll throw down his elemental skill, but his elemental skill just coats his weapon with cryo damage, and then that's also counted as a normal and charged attacks because that's all I'm doing. I'm just swinging. His main stats that I would recommend going for: cryo first, then attack percent, then crit rate and crit damage. So his flower, this is mediocre. Hoping to switch this. It doesn't really need that much energy recharge, but it's helpful. Feather. Again, this is not ideal. I want to get some more crit and crit rate and crit damage, but couldn't get it on this because I'll show you why when I go to Diluc. His clock attack percent. You got crit damage, elemental mastery. Elemental mastery is not bad, but again, you want more damage on him because unless he's your support and he's just there to throw his skills down and that's it, all of this gets factored into his ultimate, which I'll show you in a second. His goblet, cryo, you need cryo damage as the base, and then all these other stats you will need attack, crit rate, and crit damage. I was hoping for these to get leveled up, but again, this is pretty good. I'm not. He'll be using this for quite a while unless I get another goblet that's better. Helmet, crit rate, attack, crit damage. This is good. Again, was hoping for attack percent, but yeah, this is perfectly fine. This is good. His weapon, because I don't have any other claymores, but I've been focusing on this claymore and one for Diluc. This is perfectly fine because the base attack is really high and energy recharge is always a bonus. So he's always getting his his elemental burst fast, but the cooldown is long. So that's the only thing about this, that he could be throwing his elemental burst like over and over if it wasn't for his cooldown. So this weapon increases all damage by 14%, and then it does a vacuum blade that does for 140% attack damage that lasts 20 seconds, or 8 vacuum blades. I think the vacuum blades are like on his hit, and that's when they activate, but good damage, but not that great. I'll show you what would be better for him in just a second. His stats: crit rate 40%, crit damage, I need to get this higher, 74%. Energy recharge 150, too much, I don't need that much. Cryo damage 46%, and elemental mastery 100. Oh my gosh, sorry. So the elemental mastery for him, it will just increase. I don't think it increases his frozen. Wow, that's a new idol. That's pretty cool. But yeah, increasing vaporize and melt, increasing superconduct and electro charge, all that really nice. Good reactants. It's niche. And lastly, we have Diluc, my carry for the whole entire shebang. Let's go to his artifacts. His flower. This flower is just, I just really got lucky with this. Crit rate, attack percent, crit damage. Diluc's best stats: pyro first, then an attack percent, then crit rate, and crit damage. Same for Chongyun. Any type of DPS, that's what you want. So yeah, that's what I ended up getting for his stats. Feather, again, got super lucky. Attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. This, as soon as I get a really good pyro set, one of these sets, I'll switch it over to Diluc. because he mainly deals pyro damage. So it would be nice, and I want to test it out and see how that goes. And then I would switch this set to Chongyun, and then my powerhouse is gonna be crazy. Clock, gladiators, attack percent, crit rate, crit damage. Good stats overall. Energy recharge is good, so that he can have this ultimate every time it's off cooldown. Goblet, attack percent. I would say a pyro goblet is better, but because of these substats, elemental mastery, crit rate, and crit damage 33%, I had to use this no matter what. But essentially, you would want pyro for him. Helmet, crit rate, very important up here. I'm trying to get him a better helmet, and once that I get that, because the thing is, I took his helmet off. This is what he was using before, but I want something with even better stats. So for now, this is better on Chongyun because he gets the foreset. But I need crit rate for him, so substats are good. Attack percent, crit damage, so overall good. His weapon, he's using rank 5 Wolf's Gravestone. Increase attack by 40% with enemies that have 30% or lower. So now, if I told you before, his C1 increases damage against enemies by 50% when they're 50% higher. So when they get from that 50 to 30%, there's no bonus, but that 30% and below, as soon as I smack them, that buff goes to everybody on that team. So it's attack percent increased by 80% for the whole team. It lasts for 12 seconds and can happen every 30 seconds. Very good. I don't know if it stacks, so if I was to ever get another one and I put it on him, I don't know if it would work well or not. So, but yeah, attack percent and base attack. So his attributes, 3k attack, crit rate 59%. I need that to be higher. Crit damage 157%. That's why his numbers are just off the wall. Energy recharge, good. It's almost like average is always around 100%. No one's lower than 100%. I think, I don't know what the base is, but yeah. Pyro damage, increase 15%. That's a base, that's normal, so that's it. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have on my team. This turned out to be a really long video, but I hope that answered anybody's questions. I'll just lastly go over their talents real quick just so you guys can see, and then you guys can read what what they do on your own. But this will tell you what I'm aiming for. I'm always for him priority auto attacks. That's my priority because that's where most of his damage is being done. Searing Onslaught, it's good, but it's not like one of the higher damage moves. Dawn, I do this on top, so because when he gets this coating on him, this is what is applied onto his auto attacks. So I always would level these two up before Searing Onslaught. These are the most important ones for him. For Chongyun, his most important would be this. I would say it's very important only because when he's being the support right now, when he's coding his cryo, his ability, he'll drop a big AoE. Anybody with melee does cryo. This increases that damage that they do on top of that. So, I mean, or actually, you know what? I don't think so, but it lasts longer. And the skill damage when it slams does a lot of damage. Ultimate, all those swords coming down. This is what I'm gonna level up next, and then his auto attacks, I'll start leveling up those last. I haven't been able to level this up because I don't have this. I never got that drop. And for this, I'll just get these books and I'll level it up soon. So, yep, that's Chongyun for you. Talents for Barbara. Always her heals. Those are top priority. Her heals are number one priority. So these two, I try to level most. This is not important. In my novice stage, I leveled it up, but you don't need to level that up for Barbara because she's not on the field attacking. She's only doing it to take off shields and to take off, to take off shields. That's it. Fischl, again, novice move. Did not need to do that, but her most important things to level up are her Hawk's abilities. So I need to level this up. I'll get these books and level that up soon. And yeah, I never got this drop, so I can't level that up. That's why I never bothered getting books for her. Keqing, I think our most important things to level up would be her attack and her starboard sword. This is just good for planking around, positioning, and stuff like that. It does good damage, but in the end, these would do more damage, and that's what you need to level up or stay focused on. I'll probably get her books and I'll level this up soon so that she does even more damage. Or I'll level this up. I don't know. I'm thinking about this though. To get this to level 8. For her, I focus on her ultimate. And this will be next. Our attack, it does good damage, so that's why I was leveling this up. So these two I'll level up soon, but the problem is that this book, it also shares with Diluc, and Diluc is my number 1 DPS, so he gets all the resources, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's what she's rolling with. Jean's talents, I try to get her heals up, mainly because she's my support, but eventually I'm going to start working on this. Again, I can't level this up because of this. Diluc comes first, so first I would give Diluc all the books, then it's going to be Mona, then it's going to be Jean. So, we'll see how that goes. Xiangling, again, Pyronado, and Guobo. I don't need this. She's never standing there to attack, so yeah. But that's it. That's the team. I'm going to be posting this and uploading this as soon as I get the chance. So this video might go out on Thursday, and I'm probably gonna do some live runs right now. So yeah, sorry for the long-winded video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm gonna try my best to do timestamps for real, so you guys can see exactly what section is what for each, and then yeah, if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. I will explain everything I can in full to you guys. Yeah, I didn't go over the elemental reactions, but at this point, I would say just go into this elemental resonance, and it will explain some of the actions that are happening when you have them mixed together, or what happens when you have two certain elements together. So as far as team building, these reactions create freeze, this creates superconduct, this creates vaporize, this creates melt, this creates overload. So a whole bunch of reactions happening all the time, and you want that. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so sorry this became a long video. I hope the sounds were good, and I hope this was helpful for any of you that had questions about this. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and supporting me for these videos I've been creating. Again, I'm going to keep doing this on a consistent basis now, because it's a lot more simpler for me. So, yeah. If you liked the vid, go ahead and like it, and let me know what you think. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.